Hi, it's me, Ceinna, and today I want to introduce you guys to a new series I'm starting on my channel called Makeup and Fairy Tales. I'm just going to do my makeup and tell you guys a little story. My inspiration for this series was actually a lot of different channels. This is my personal preference on YouTube right now, is makeup and any kind of commentary. So I watch makeup and true crime, makeup and history, makeup and YouTube drama, makeup and whatever Amanda is thinking right now, which is the best. Please check out all of the women that I have mentioned. And then also just general fairy tale videos that I like to listen to when I'm asleep. I love all of these channels, but sometimes I want to watch the makeup and listen to the story without having to hear about the reality I live in, if that makes sense. Sometimes I want a break. I want that content, but a break from, does that make sense? So I didn't see anyone else doing it, and I decided I'm gonna do it because it's what I would watch. I by no means am a makeup professional. I'm just like any other regular smegular, anybody who does makeup on a day-to-day basis. The story I'm telling today is called The Fairy Eye Ointment. That's the name. It is adapted from the Welsh fairy book written by W. Jenkins Thomas in 1912. Over time, we're gonna be doing stories from all different kind of cultures and time periods. Trust me, this is just like a really good starter that I found really cute and interesting, but trust me, we got lots of stories coming. And don't come for my passion twists, they're on their way out. And don't come for my nails, I did them myself and I'm regrowing them. Those are the two rules for the comment section. No passion twist slander, no nail slander. Please, I'm very sensitive right now. Oh, okay, also I'm blind, so if you see me use a mirror, I'm gonna try to keep it off camera, but your girl's blind. I don't have LASIK money yet. Bear with me because one day I will. Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, there was an old couple who wanted to hire a maid. So on All Hallows Day, which is really close to Halloween, they set out to Caernarfon, which is a royal city in Wales, to the fair to find a maid. There was a place under a tree where people who were looking for work would stand. And they saw a girl there who was about 18 or 19. She was very beautiful, had blonde hair and light freckles, and she had like a real energetic light in her eyes. Like she looked like she was ready to work. Everyone else around seemed like sullen and not washed very well. They were dirty. So the old man approached the young girl and he said, "What is your name?" She replied that her name was Elian, which I think is a very beautiful and unique name. And he said, "Would you like a job?" She said yes, and just like that, she was hired. It is not that easy to get a job in 2021, but back then she said yes, and she was on the clock. After supper, if the moon and the stars were bright, Elian would take out her wheel and go do all of her spinning in the meadow, and she would stay out there throughout the whole night and work. She would go right out into the open, and it's not because she was trying to get some fresh air and relax. It was because the fairies were helping her do her spinning. Now, I have a limited knowledge on fairies, but I know you shouldn't get help from them. I know that much, but that's what she was doing. In the morning, she would come back with her arms full of yarn, and the old man and the old woman, they did not know that she was having the fairies help her. They had no idea what she was doing. They were just so happy that they found her and so grateful they found someone to spin all this yarn. Elian did the same thing throughout the winter. She would take her wheel and she would go and spin all night, and she never got a cold. So she just kept it up. She did the same thing in the spring. So one spring night, it was a beautiful, lovely night. She went out with her wheel to do her spinning, and she did not come back. What did I say? The old couple was very sad to lose her, but there was like gossip going around the town that she had been taken by the fairies. So they were sad to see her go, but there's nothing they could do. And that's what I thought. It was fairies. You can't be messing with fairies. I don't know a lot, but I know that you don't mess with fairies. That's all I know. The Fae. The Fae. Does anybody watch True Blood? If y'all watch True Blood, let me know. I rewatch True Blood every like year and a half. I have every single season on DVD, box sets, and every once in a while I get an itch and I lean into it. Anyway, let's go. Let's move on. So over time, the old man and the old woman, you know, they have to move on. They keep doing their work and things go back to normal. And then one night on full moon, when the air was damp after fresh rain, somebody comes and knocks on their door. A man had ridden from far away to seek out the old lady. He told her that there was a mother who just had a newborn baby, but she had fallen ill, and she only trusted the old woman to care for her child. The old lady is like, I don't know who this is. I can't think of who this woman would be, but if there's a sick baby, I'm not gonna fail to help. I'm gonna come out there and do my best to help whoever's baby this is. You know, it could be somebody from town, traveled away and got sick. So sure, I'll come help. So the old lady packed a few things and she followed the stranger on her horse far, far away until they came upon a cave in the side of a hill. She dismounted and I don't think she had a horse. I don't know that she rode, it says she rode behind him. I don't know if she was on the same horse, if women could ride horses back then, but in my fantasy, she had her own horse. So she dismounted and they walked through the cave, and at the far end of the cave, they came upon a door. And when she opened the door, there was a woman laying in a room. Now, this is not the kind of room you would expect to find in a cave, if you would expect to find a room in a cave at all. But the old woman was very surprised to see like a beautiful carved 4-poster bed. There was a Persian rug on the floor. There was silk tapestries with songbirds and flowers. There was a Chinese ginger pot, silver trays, lots of just beautiful, beautiful ornaments all over the room. She was very surprised to see this kind of room in a cave. The woman that laid in the bed was not familiar to her, but she was very beautiful and very, very pale. The woman reached up her arm and rang a little bell, very sickly, and a servant came with the baby. The servant curtsied to the old woman. She gently handed her the baby, and the woman was happy to lay the baby in the bed and rock him to sleep and sing lullabies, while the mother watched until she just fell asleep. So after all this, the next morning, the same man who came and got her came into the room and handed her a small glass bottle. He told her that what was in the glass bottle was a ointment for the baby's eyes, and that twice a day he had to put 1 drop in each eye, but that she could not put any in her eyes. He was very serious, very stern. She could not put any of the ointment in her eyes, or else great evil would befall her, specifically what it said. The old woman followed her instructions to the T. Okay, she did it twice a day, every day, never once getting any in her eye. And she was really happy to take care of the baby. They had everything they needed in that room. So much so that servants would come in and out and bring food, and she didn't even notice. She was so happy caring for the baby and taking care of him that she didn't even think about, you know, how they were surviving. Over time, the young lady started to recover. So since the young woman was starting to feel better, she figured her time there was ending, and that was fine. She was perfectly fine to go back to her home and, you know, be with her man. So one day, just as she finished putting the lotion in the little baby's eye, her eye starts to itch. And without thinking about it, she wipes her eye. She wipes her eye without thinking about it, and it was wet. She had a little bit of lotion on her, or a little bit of ointment. A little bit of ointment. It refers to it as ointment and lotion. I just think, you know. But she had a little bit of that ointment on her finger and didn't even think of it. And so immediately her eye starts feeling strange, starts feeling really peculiar. She's like blinking, she can't see. She keeps blinking, trying to, you know, you get like something in your eye, you're like, whoa, like, ooh, I gotta get this figured out. So she starts blinking, trying to get her vision to come back, trying to fix whatever's wrong. So after a few blinks, she finally clears it up and realizes she's no longer standing in a beautiful room. She's in a mossy, nasty, wet cave. So not only were they not in a beautiful room, but they were in the cave that they entered in originally. They were also not alone. She was not just with the mother and the son. There were tons of little fairies doing various activities, okay? They were, well, jobs, I should say. They were welding, sewing, spinning, distilling, brewing. They were doing metalwork. They were making coins. They were in there busy, and she had no idea. Not only was the room not a beautiful room. Not only were they not alone, but the woman was not laying on a beautiful bed. She was laying on the floor. She was laying on the cold, dark floor of a cave. And after like really like paying attention with that eye, it was Elian. It was her maid, which I feel like we all could have figured that out, but that's who it was that was in the room. So the old lady is very smart. At first, she didn't say anything at all, which is a genius move. That's exactly what I would have done. I wouldn't have said anything. I would act like everything was cool. She went to bed and said nothing. So in the morning, she actually decides to go over to Elian and she's like, hey, how come these fairies are taking care of you? Like, what's going on here? And Elian whispers to her, they're speaking very hushed tones. And she's like, how can you see them? And she's like, well, I accidentally got some of the ointment in my eye the other day and I can see everything going on here. I need some answers. She said, with my right eye, I see a beautiful, tranquil room, and with my left eye, I can see the truth. So Elian tells her, shh, do not say anything, be very, very quiet, don't bring this up, especially make sure that the man who gave you the ointment does not find out that you can see them. He's the king of the fairies, and he's my husband. And there's no telling what he's gonna do if he finds out that you know what's going on here. So you better keep it on the hush. So she goes on to tell the old woman that she had the fairies helping her, but for a price. She told her that she promised that she would marry the king of the fairy folk in spring, but she had no intention of keeping that promise. What she did instead was she kept a sharp weapon on her. I don't know that I can say the weapon, but she kept a weapon. And she would sleep with mountain ash over her feet because the fairy folk did not like to cross over it, so that would keep her safe and she could go about not keeping her into the deal. Until one day, after a long day of shearing sheep with the old couple, she fell asleep, they caught her off guard, and they, whoop, they got her. So the old woman was very cautious after the warning she got from Elian, and she did not let anybody onto the fact that she could see what was going on. She just continued her duties and pretended like everything was fine. Until the day that it came for her to go home. So the king of the fairies came to get her. She acted like, you know, she didn't see nothing, she don't know nothing, and she's ready to go home, be with her man, go back to her house, okay? And they put her on a horse. Oh, she has her own horse, I forget. She gets on her horse, they ride home, and they pay her a handsome sum of money for her services, obviously, because she was not working for free, which is nice because she deserves the money, obviously. After she received her pay and she's back comfy at home, she goes back to her regular life. She does not tell anybody about her new power. She still has it, but she just kept it a complete secret, even from her husband. Some time passes and she goes to the market with one of her friends, and her friend says, oh, the fairies must be here today because the prices are going crazy. The prices are skyrocketing. And the woman with her secret power notices that the fairies are at the market, and she sees them just causing mayhem and running around, and she also sees the fairy king stealing. Without thinking, the old lady walks right up to the fairy king, walks right up to him. Now, personally, I would have minded my own business, but that's just me. So anyway, she walks right up to the fairy king without even thinking, and she said, hey, how's Elian? How's she doing? Hope everything's okay. How's everything going over there? And without hesitation, the fairy king said, oh, she's great. She's doing good. Thank you for asking. What eye can you see me out of? The old woman looks him right in the face and says, my left eye. This eye right here. And without any hesitation, the fairy king took his walking stick and freed her of that eye, girl. Freed her. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know an appropriate YouTube way to say it. Just that is the end of the story. That's it. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for watching. I'm just kidding. So that is one ending, but there is an alternative ending to the story. I'm gonna put on a lip and a lash and I will tell you the alternative version of the story. So she runs into Ilian by chance, and at this time she is now the queen of the fairy folk. She is happy and she has her own magic, and she uses it to fix the old woman's eye. And that's it. Now she's healed and she can go on with her life without seeing any of the fairy nonsense. I feel like both endings are good. One obviously has more shock value than the other one, but the softer, sweeter one, that's good too. The moral of the story is supposed to be to know when to keep a secret, but I feel like there's lots of things we could be taken away from this story. Number one, don't make promises you don't plan on keeping. Maybe. If you make an agreement for them to help you with your work to marry and be the fairy queen, maybe keep your promise. Don't be putting out people's eyes. Also, do not work with fairies. Do not accept anything. There are so many tricky little fairy stories that I've been reading that's like, not the fae, girl. Don't help them with anything. Don't ask them for nothing. Mind your business and they'll mind their business. That's all I know. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like. And if you have any ideas for other stories you'd like to hear, please comment them down below. I have a specific kind of story I can work with, but I will respond and let you know if I can or if I can't, or what I think of the idea. And I just want to talk to you guys. So don't forget to leave a comment. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day. Bye.